She wasn't interested. "I didn't think we were supposed to care about such trivial things as looks," she said with a sniff. Lillian laughed. "Name me one woman who doesn't think their man is handsome." "Fanny Lambright," Sylvie said emphatically. They all laughed, though Millie wished she had curtailed her own humor. Leroy Lambert might resemble a donkey at times, but he was a good and godly man. Father of 8, grandfather to who knew how many, deacon to their district, an all-around beautiful man. On the inside, where it counted most. Franny herself was something of a saint. Millie knew that most people would take it for granted that Franny would see after her brother-in-law's new baby. After all, it had only been a couple of months since his wife died having the child. But Franny was almost 60 years old. She was past the time for toting around an infant. But Benjamin needed her, and she had stepped up. To Millie, it sounded a tad crazy, but commendable all the same. "And then, Franny and that baby," Lillian continued, echoing Millie's thoughts. Lillian shook her head as if that explained everything. Actually, it did. They all knew it was quite an undertaking to accept the responsibility for such a small child to the benefit of another. Even Sylvie, who had never had any children of her own, understood how much time and care a newborn demanded. Franny was on the cusp of her golden years, working toward the time when she could merely bounce her grandchildren on her knee and wait for others to provide most of her care. Instead, she wagged that baby to work with her at the Lambrights' meat market in town, Paradise Meats, and watched her and the counter all day. Benjamin's other children went to stay with his mother-in-law while he worked the dairy farm he shared with his brother, then on to the meat market, where they took turns manning the cutting blades each day. "He's not going to be able to keep this up for long," Sylvie said with a small shake of her head. "It's already been 2 months," Lillian pointed out. "Doesn't matter," Sylvie continued. "He's going to have to remarry soon, even if he's in mourning. Those babies need a mother." Maybe Sylvie was on an everyone needs to be married kick or something, which was strange, seeing as how she had been a widow for as long as Millie could remember, maybe even before she was born. And Sylvie pretty much ran the Whoopie Pie Widows Club, so it didn't seem like she was thinking about marriage anytime soon. The Whoopie Pie Widows Club. So that wasn't the exact name of the group. It was something like Paradise Springs Widows Group or some such, but no one called it that. To most all of Paradise Springs, and neighboring rival Paradise Hill, the group of widowed women were known as the Whoopie Pie Widows Club. From what Millie had learned in her time in Paradise Springs, it had all started when Felty Lambright's wife, Sue, was diagnosed with cancer. The widows got together to do a bake sale for a fundraiser, but it just so happened that they all made whoopie pies. Millie figured someone fell down on their job in organizing a variety. At any rate, the ladies made exotic flavors of the traditional, well-loved dessert, and before anyone could turn around, the nickname had stuck. Not that anyone called them that where any of them could hear, but still, they were most definitely the Whoopie Pie Widows Club. "He came into the store yesterday," Lillian said, drawing Millie out of her own thoughts. "Who?" Millie asked. "Henry King," Lillian explained with a small frown. Clearly, she was disappointed that Millie was not keeping up with the conversation better than she was. "The variety store?" Millie questioned, still a bit behind. Lillian's father-in-law owned and operated a variety store. Lillian had gone to work there several years before when her own husband had died, so it would make sense that was the store she was talking about. "Of course." Lillian's frown deepened a bit. "He seems like a real nice man, a perfect match for one of our younger women." "If he stays," Elsie said. "Betsy told me that he was only here for the growing season. Once fall comes, he's going back to Oklahoma. That's where he's from." "Betsy would know," Lillian said sagely. Betsy Stoll, also a member of the Whoopie Pie Widows Club, owned and ran the Paradise Apothecary. She sold herbs and home remedies to everyone in Paradise Springs and had a strong finger on the pulse of the community.